What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome to Steelers Almighty. What is happening, everybody? It's Thursday before the Super Bowl. Still a ton going on as far as the Pittsburgh Steelers are concerned, as far as, just the NFL is concerned. We're going to cover a lot of that for you guys today, man. Just kind of winding the week down, but still having a good time, man. So I appreciate you showing up like you have. And more people will join in and the conversation will get going as we get going. So appreciate that. We're going to talk a little bit about this Russ Arthur Smith, this issue that popped up. We heard a little bit about that. We heard a little bit about it, but now more things seem to be coming out. And because of that, it really seems that the Steelers are, obviously Arthur Smith is their offensive coordinator. They don't want these issues to happen again. So I believe that the Steelers, I don't know if you want to say they're backing Arthur Smith, but they're basically saying we're going to move on, and they're kind of moving away from Russell Wilson. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Najee Harris contract numbers are out all over the place, but we kind of got some numbers here to go over as far as what Najee's new contract could look like. I don't think that's going to be with the Steelers. Matter of fact, I'm pretty damn positive it's not going to be with the Steelers. And then Super Bowl preview. I know the Steelers aren't in it, but it's football, man. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a football guy. I'm a football junkie. And when there's football on, I want to talk about it. So we're going to discuss the Super Bowl as well. So appreciate you guys being in here. Like I said, if you want your question, comment, or rant up on the screen, you know how to do that. Super chats are wide open if you want to help support the channel that way. And also remember, memberships are also available for you to sign up on. A ton of content on the membership side. You get a ton of access. So appreciate if you want to help support the channel that way too. Let's get into this. So first things first, Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith seem to be button heads. This all stems from the first Cincinnati Bengals game. I take that back. Well, yeah, it starts there, where it seemed that Arthur Smith was perturbed, shall we say, that Russell Wilson was changing a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage. And now, if you remember correctly, that was Russell Wilson's best game in probably 4 or 5 years, and maybe even longer. He threw for 414 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had the 1 interception, but that was basically a pass interference. Remember when they threw George Pickens down, they grabbed him by the back of the helmet, threw him down, intercepted it for a pick 6. After that, Russell Wilson was just lights out. So, and maybe it stems from that. Maybe it stems where Russ changed the play there. Arthur Smith is furious, but Russ kept on with his game plan on what to do, and the Steelers end up winning that football game. Well, here's the next thing is that it seems that Arthur Smith had a game plan to run the football against the Bengals, which, quite frankly, is coaching malpractice. Let's just call it what it is. The Bengals secondary was absolutely pathetic all season long. Teams lined up and threw it whenever, wherever, for as much as they wanted to against the Bengals. And for you to have a game plan to run the football, see, like I said, it's coaching malpractice. There's been other people that say, it's a fireable offense. I agree. Like, what made you say, you know what, we just need to line up and ball control and that? No. Go out there and attack these guys that can be attacked. They can't stop you. And it seemed like Arthur Smith had the wrong game plan. Okay, fine. You have the wrong game plan. Russ has been in the league long enough to understand, look, we need to throw the football on these guys. They're giving us way too many openings. We need to take advantage of it. And he did. So I just don't understand it, to be quite honest with you. It's pride. Look, pride always seems to get in the way. I'm not going to be a religious man and quote Bible verses or anything like that. I shouldn't say I'm not a religious man. I believe in God, but I'm not the most religious guy, and that's not what this is about. All I'm saying is pride is a hell of a drug. It is insane. And for Arthur Smith not to just take a step back and say, you know what, it worked, it's fine. I don't know if my game plan would have worked, but what you did, that was fine. Let's move on. We won a football game. Let's go to the next week. Apparently, that wasn't so. In the complex, there were problems. And if I'm Russell Wilson, I'm looking at this guy like, hey, man, we won a football game because I saw what Cincinnati was doing out there on the field. I understood who we have and where we could take advantage of that, and we did it. Running the football wasn't necessarily going to be the answer. We needed to be aggressive. Now, I'm sure Arthur Smith and in extension Mike Tomlin is that they thought, look, the Bengals have this crazy offense. It's super explosive. We need to keep the ball away from them and have a ball control offense. So, we can rest our defense as much as possible, and that's what we're thinking. We just need to control the ball against them. We can run it on them when we want to. We can throw it too, but we want to control the ball, control the clock, slow this thing down. Well, that's not what happened. And if you remember correctly, the Steelers they had a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. They were crushing Cincinnati, crushing them. Defense got a pick or a strip sack for a touchdown. I mean, the Steelers were doing their thing. So it's just, I'm like, come on. What? I just don't understand it. And we can be mad at Arthur Smith. And I know a lot of you are saying, get rid of Arthur Smith. If this was the issue, again, you all know me. I'm going to tell the truth 100% of the time, or at least my truth. I can't defend that anymore. I keep trying to defend Arthur Smith and say, well, this and that, and I dilly-dally around with a lot of stuff. If that's the case, coaching malpractice, they're not going to get another offensive coordinator, so I'm not going to go down that road, but man, is this horrible. And again, this is another black mark on the Mike Tomlin regime. And you know me, I'm not here to be a Mike Tomlin apologist. I'm not here to be a Mike Tomlin basher. At Steelers Almighty, we're going to tell the truth. And this is a Mike Tomlin hire. It just that simple. And here's the thing that I don't like about all this is because Russ saw an opportunity. You brought him in to take advantage because Mike Tomlin's words, he gives us the best chance to win a playoff game. He gives us that best chance. That's why you brought Russell Wilson here. Okay. So then when he sees an opportunity and what he believes to be the best chance to win, why are we butting heads with that? Why are we contradicting that? Why are we not trusting that? That's my point. Like, if you brought him here, you replaced a guy that's 4-2 because you thought that Russ advanced the passing game more than what Justin Fields could do. I'm not going to disagree with you. But if that's your belief, then what are we doing? Mark Malone, I love it. Living in fears. I just, the Tomlinisms, it just, all I'm saying is that at some point, you've got to get out of this 1970s, 80s football, a way of thinking that we just have to ball control. You can ball control. For instance, the San Francisco 49ers of the Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice era, everybody thinks that they were throwing all these deep passes and just throwing. No, they didn't. They were a ball control offense, man. The West Coast offense is ball control offense. So just because you throw the ball more doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a ball control offense. It doesn't mean that. Short passes, quick game. Steelers can do all of that. We just don't. Now you could say maybe we don't have the personnel. Okay, we'll find some personnel to do something. But all I know is the butting of the heads, and then there's the stripping of Russell Wilson of being able to change plays is again coaching malpractice because that apparently is what happened. Whether it was he couldn't change a formation, couldn't change a pass protection, couldn't change from a run to a pass. You know, it seemed like, and apparently the reports are the only thing Russ was able to do was if we were running the ball left and they outnumbered us to the left, we needed to flip and run the ball to the right. That's all you're going to allow your quarterback to do, then what's the point? Like, seriously, a veteran of Russell Wilson's caliber. Because the one thing that nobody's ever said about Russell Wilson is that he wasn't extremely smart. Like that, everybody says that he is extremely smart, can read defenses, understands a playbook, you know, can ingest a new playbook pretty quickly. That everybody says Russell Wilson is extremely smart. So if he's that smart, he's got that much experience, maybe you should trust him to do the things that you need to do to win. Does that mean that every check is going to work? No, it doesn't mean that. It has never meant that. Every check that every quarterback makes doesn't work. I mean, that's not what this is. You know, football is not a game of 100%. Yes, it's a game of results, but it's not. Hey, if it doesn't work, and you're not perfect, you can't play. Come on now. I just I think it's absolutely laughable that this is even that I'm even having to talk about this. That you guys are having to listen to it. And it's almost making the Steelers comical, to be quite frank with you. Comical that you've got this veteran of a quarterback that's been in the league, what is it, 13, 14 years? That you don't trust him to make checks, or you're mad that he made checks in a game that he threw for 414 yards and 3 touchdowns and you won. You're mad because that wasn't the game plan. Now and you're butting heads about it. Because if I'm Russell Wilson, damn right, I'm like, hold on, man. Who are you? Like, I've won a Super Bowl. I've been to multiple Super Bowls. Like, what have you done, Arthur Smith? Other than get fired because you wouldn't use weapons properly in Atlanta and it got you fired. Like, what have you done? I've earned this. Now, granted, he didn't earn this last Pro Bowl. Don't get me wrong. But I've earned the reputation of being able to go out here and make plays. And if you don't want me to make plays, by all means, sit my ass on the bench. But if you do, well, then shut up and let me do what I'm doing. Didn't win out. Didn't look the same after the Bengals game. If you notice, Russell Wilson didn't really look the same after that. Didn't look the same. And if they've taken all that away from him, then God bless him. I just, and that's the thing that drives me insane. If you don't trust Russ, I'm not even saying that you have to. But if you don't, then take him off the field. Period. End of story. I don't even want to talk about anything else. If you don't trust this guy to make the plays, then by all means, don't put him on the field. And I'm okay with that. But if you do, you got this guy that's been in the league forever, and he's making checks. He's doing things, getting you in and out of plays. Hell, that's why you have him. Isn't that what the definition of having a veteran quarterback is? Like, seriously, isn't that the definition? Hey, man, I got this veteran guy because he knows what's going on. He knows the offense. He can count. Hey, we got 5 guys over here. We only got 4 to block them. We need to run this way. Hey, you know what? They're running cover 2. If we check to this pass play, we're going to have something here. They're in cover 3. Great. This is what we need to do. Oh, better yet, they're in man. This is what we need to do. If you're not going to trust that guy to do that, then what's the point? Or Is it more just about your ego saying, well, I want to do it my way? And I'm sorry, Mike Tomlin people. I'm sorry. But that is a Mike Tomlin thing. That is a Mike Tomlin. I want to run the football. It's more risky to throw the football than it is to throw it. And that's not my words. Mike Tomlin said that. He literally said that. He used the Mike Tomlinisms, a component of keeping the football, which is a component of what we need, and a component of moving the football. Well, a component of running it keeps it, and it's more risky to throw it. So a component of us moving the ball is we've got to keep it on the ground. Because a component of being more risky is a component of not winning. That's all I'm saying. And I love Mike Tomlin, but I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of it. I just want to win. And this is not winning football. This is not winning football, man. Minzer Smith. Here's the thing. I was happy that first Bengals game. That was the highlight of the year, and then downhill after that. You're daggone right. You know how happy Steeler fans were after that game? It's not so much that we beat the Bengals. It's how we beat the Bengals. Who would have thought that the Steelers could beat the Bengals in a shootout? Over the last 4 years, who the hell thought the Steelers could go? Remember, that game was on the road, that we could go to Cincinnati and win a shootout against the Bengals. Who the hell thought that that was possible? Nobody thought that was possible. And we did it. And we're like, well, hell, we got something here, don't we? That's what everybody thought. I thought that. You thought that. We're like, unleash Russ. Unleash him. And we understood that the Bengals had a bad run defense or a pass defense. We knew that. But it didn't matter. We were like, yes, we got something here. And then it comes out, nah, we don't like that. We don't like shootouts. Arthur Smith, Mike Tomlin, nah. Shootout, no good. Nah. We don't want that. We don't want that. So then when we play the Bengals a second time, the game plan is to run the football. Oh, it's bad weather. It's cold out. We can't throw it. We got to run it. We got to run the ball. The Bengals know that. The Bengals had 100 guys in the box and just say, we're not going to let you run the ball. We're not going to let you do it because we know you want to do it. We're just not going to let you run the ball. And they didn't. They didn't. Let me pull that up real quick. I'm going to pull that up because I remember that game. I was so disgusted because as soon as the Steelers started to throw the football, they got back in the game. It was amazing. Simply amazing. Let's go to the box score. The Steelers, I remember, 74 yards rushing on 23 carries against the Bengals. And we threw it for 148 yards. And if you remember, the majority of that was basically the last quarter and a half. Because they couldn't stop us when we decided to throw the football. Pat Freiermuth was open. We just didn't throw. I was like, come on, man. What are we doing? And I fought it for so long. But Marcus Smith is right. Thanks, Wes. We appreciate the subscription to the channel, man. Thank you very much. But Marcus Fields, you got it correct. Arthur Smith is just another Matt Canada light. I fought it for so long. I'm like, no, he's not. He's better than that. Come on, guys. Just give him a chance. Truth is truth. Truth is truth. And if we're saying it's a Matt Canada thing, which I had sworn never to say that guy's name on this channel, isn't it a Mike Tomlin thing? Because who's hiring the guys? Who's hiring them? So, what's going on, Mr. Dresden? We see you in the chat. Thank you for showing up, my man. But who's hiring the people? So, oh, oh well. I can't. It's enough. It's enough. It's enough to drive you insane, people. It's enough to drive you insane. But let's move on. Let's move on. So Najee, we've started to get some real numbers on Najee Harris and what a contract will look like for Najee Harris next year. And there's a lot of numbers and ins and outs there, but the consensus for Najee, it looks like 3 years, $27 million. I'm sorry, as a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, no thanks. No thanks. I love Najee. I think Najee is great. Think he's a great guy, great locker room guy. He's consistent. If he's nothing else, he's durable. He's consistent. People will look at his numbers. He's run behind a horrible offensive line. He's done that for 2 years. This past year was a little better, but it's 1,043 yards is what he did this year. I'm sorry, I'm out. And some might say, well, come on, Big B, if he had a better offensive line, he'd run for more. And you're probably not probably right. You are right. I'm still not willing to give Najee Harris $9 million a year. I'm not. I'm not in that boat. Now maybe some are. Maybe some should or are like, hey, they're big Najee people. But I'm not willing to pay Najee Harris $9 million a year. Nope. Nope. And I get it. He'll be better behind a better offensive line. Well, everybody would be better behind a better offensive line, wouldn't they? So I don't think because the line is getting better that we should sacrifice on a better player behind them, if that makes sense. Like, if the offensive line is getting better, shouldn't we put somebody better behind them than just saying, well, we'll just keep Najee and he'll just be better and then have to pay him all that much more money? I don't see that. I'm out on that. I don't believe that. The offensive line is better. Yes. Now go find a better running back. And then the offense can be even more explosive. Because I can tell you one thing, being complacent has gotten the Steelers right where they are right now, not wanting to go find better players. That's the problem. So that is my issue. So let's see here. The truth is, if it's a Rooney thing, then they want a running team, point blank, period. No, Rooney 100% wants a running team. He came out and said it. He literally came out and said it. He wants a running team. So, but Najee Harris doesn't have to be the running back. So, that's my thing. Najee Harris doesn't have to be the running back. And even if we want to be a running team, which I'm not opposed to being a running team. I think a lot of people think that I am opposed to the Steelers being a running team. I'm not. I think it's fine if the Steelers want to run the football. But you got to come up with creative ways to run the football. And you also have to have creative ways to be able to blocking schemes and use that to your advantage. Do the things that are to your advantage as far as blocking schemes. You know? And like Najee Harris, we kept trying to run outside zone, toss, outside zone. And over again, and I would show you guys the plays are there, but the guys couldn't block it. Like, I mean, and at some point, you got to just say, well, if they can't block it, then we got to stop running it. I thought that too, because I'm like, come on, man, put some emphasis on and some onus on the players. You know, block the guy. You know where you're supposed to be. Go block the guy. But if they can't, then you have to stop calling it. Period. End of story. You just got to stop calling it. And I got caught up in trying to put the blame on the players, which, don't get me wrong, you got to be, if you can't block a stretch play, I'm not sure you can play in the National Football League. But at the same time, if those are the best we have and they can't block it, you got to stop calling it. Period. End of story. So, mm-mm-mm. And there you go. Mr. Malone says 5 yard, or you're running for 5 yards a carry, have a screen game, do it all the time. Najee isn't quick enough for that screen for that scheme either. No. Najee's vision's not the best. Najee is a downhill runner. Downhill runner. That's his best running style. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. So, but the bottom line is the Steelers have to they first of all they got to decide what they want to do. They got to I talked about this before. The Steelers got to get an identity. Figure it out, then go get the pieces to that identity and make it happen. Najee Harris just can't be in the plans at $9 million a year. If you were going to tell me you were going to pay Najee $4 or $5 million or even six, I would say, okay, I can live with that. I can live with giving Najee $6 million for the next 3 years. I could live with that. I'm not going to like it, but I could live with it. But $9? No. And I know, oh, come on, Big B, it's only $3 million. That's $3 million we could spend on somebody else or another position to upgrade there. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a salary cap, and you got to, allocate money accordingly. $9 million for what Najee's going to bring is too much. So $9 million is too much. Kyle Mullins, I don't disagree, but as I've said before, they're not changing offensive coordinator, and it doesn't appear that they're changing offensive line coaches. So we can't continue to talk about it and scream about it if it ain't changing. You know what I'm saying? I don't disagree with you. I'm with you. But now it's got to be, okay, well, what can we do to get better? Because they didn't make those changes. So since they didn't make those changes, I mean, we can scream to the rooftop about it. But if it isn't going to change, it's kind of like what we get mad about with Mike Tomlin. The definition of an insanity is, wanting different results when Tomlin continuously does the same thing. Same with us fans. We can scream about the offensive coordinator and the O-line coach needing to be changed, but if it isn't changing, it doesn't do us any good to keep screaming about it. I'm with you, though. Don't get me wrong. I am with you and everybody else who says it. I want us to just, at some point, we just got to move past it, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, that's all. That's all. So, Mark Malone, hopefully we don't have a Connor Hayward, Patterson, etc. on the roster. Well, look, just so you guys know, I got a series come out, and it started yesterday. I've got a series coming out and basically breaking down each player. It's called My Position by Position. And we're breaking down each individual position group on who should stay and who should go. So make sure you guys check that out. The D line's coming out. We're still recording all the other ones. So I did a deep dive into it. It's interesting when you start putting numbers and production and all of that type of stuff together. It's interesting. It's funny that you said Connor Hayward and Patterson. It's fun because we can all let the cat out of the bag. Patterson, he was making, I think, like $2.6 million to do exactly what? Like, you need to pay $2.6 million to the third string running back? It's that kind of stuff is what I'm talking about with the Steelers. Like, why do you need to pay the third string running back $2.6 million? It just doesn't make sense. I don't care how long he's been in the league. Oh, well, he's going to give us all this stuff on kickoff returns. What did he give us? They changed the rules, basically eliminating kickoff returns, So what exactly did he give us for that 2.6? A flash here or there? I could deal without the flash. Being in the game in the fourth quarter when he didn't need to be in the game, it was just wild to me. Just wild. So, but we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, Patterson, look, to pay somebody that kind of money, it's just wild. For a third string running back. I could even see if he was the backup running back. Okay, but he wasn't. He wasn't. And giving him fourth quarter touches. I just, oh well. Oh well. But that's where Najee is, man. That's where a lot of people are at with Najee. 3 years, $27 million. That's his market right now. I don't know about you fans, but I'm out. I'm out. Like I said, I love what Najee did for us. I appreciate it. But $27 million over the next 3 years, whatever that would be guaranteed, I'm sure it's probably $18 million of that is guaranteed. Thank you for your services. We appreciate what you did, but we're moving on. And that's it. That's it. So, and here's the thing that I would say. If the Steelers were willing to stonewall with Le'Veon Bell, now don't get me wrong, we offered Le'Veon Bell a lot of money and he wouldn't take it. But if we were willing to stonewall a guy that was a top 3 back in the National Football League, why would we even be in discussions with Najee paying him that kind of money? That's all I'm saying. It would make absolutely no sense. None whatsoever. So let's move on, man. So, look, I know the Steelers are not in it. I get that. But I think it's time the Super Bowl is here. And I'm a football guy, and I like the Super Bowl. I'm going to Kansas City this weekend. Now, hear me out before you cancel your subscription and never watch my channel again. Hear me out. My wife she's from Kansas City. She is a diehard Kansas City fan. Okay. She wanted me to go to the Super Bowl this year, and I shot it down. Said, absolutely not. I will not go and watch the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I'm not doing it. And so you all should be proud of me because I told my wife, no, we're not doing it. But we are going to Kansas City. And I have to go to a Kansas City Super Bowl party and watch this Super Bowl. It is what it is, man. What am I going to send my wife by myself and be, hey, man, I love my wife. I'd do anything for her. So I'm willing to go. And I'm even wearing a red jersey. A red jersey. Now, again, before you cancel your subscription and never listen to me again, it's a Steelers baseball jersey. It just happens to be red. That's as far as I can go. That's as far as I can go. So that's as far as I'm going to do. I'm going to get me Mr. Byron Nelson, I'm going to get me some good barbecue. First stop, Gates. Is every time we go to Kansas City, I'm going to Gates. Every single time. So, but I'm wearing a red Steeler jersey. It's a baseball jersey. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. So, but who do you guys like? Who do you like in the game? I listened to what Eli Manning, I don't know if anybody heard what Eli Manning had to say yesterday, and he made a really good point, is that all the pressure is on the Chiefs. They're going for a 3-peat. The pressure is on them to get a 3-peat. And he equated it to when they played the Patriots, when the Patriots were going for their undefeated season. Like, all the pressure is on them. And he's right. All the pressure is on the Chiefs. Chiefs are the favorite. But it's weird because in the Patriots and the Giants Super Bowl, the Patriots were the favorite and they had the better team. When you look at the Eagles and the Chiefs, when you break it down man for man, the Eagles have the better football team. And, their roster is the best in football. They have the better football team. Now, people equate the best football team because who has the best quarterback. Clearly, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But when you just start breaking it down after the quarterback, like who has the better receivers? The Eagles. Who has the better offensive line? The Eagles. Better running back? Eagles. D-line? Eagles. Corners? Eagles. Secondary and linebackers? I mean, the Eagles have the better football team. But quarterback, coaching. And the one thing about the National Football League, people underestimate it because guys are professionals. Coaching matters. Coaching matters, man. And Andy Reid is 10 times the coach that Nick Sirianni is. Now, I think Nick Sirianni gets a bad rap because he's been the coach for 3 years, and this is going to be a second Super Bowl. I mean, what are we talking about here? It's not like this guy's garbage as a football coach. So he's pretty damn good. But that's what I'm talking about as far as what the Eagles are a better team. So, but Andy Reid is a better coach and Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback. And we're going to see. We're going to see. The key for me, I mean, it always comes down. Can you run the ball and can you stop it? Can the Chiefs stop the Eagles from running it? And can the Eagles get a ton of pressure on Patrick Mahomes? Can they win those one-on-one matchups up front to get after Mahomes? If they can, they'll win. And they're going to have to do it in the quick game because the Chiefs they're not going to be throwing. I mean, the Chiefs have gone away from the days of, 7-step drop, throw it as far as you can down to Tyreek Hill. They've gone away from that. Now watch the first play of the game. They're going to play action and throw the ball, deep to either Hollywood Brown or Xavier Worthy. Watch that happen. But the Chiefs have gone away from that. So I just we'll see. We'll see. It's a good point by the Black and Gold Standard talking about Kansas City's defense. Yeah, it's very good. He's very good. Dresden, you got to stop saying stuff like that out in public, man. Talking about Mahomes as Jackson Dart. You got to stop saying that, man. Come on. Gee, mini Christmas. Jerry Thiels doesn't like Kansas City. There's a lot of people. Let me ask you all this. Why is everybody mad at the Chiefs? Are they mad because they're winning, or are they mad because the refs, or maybe even the perceived that the refs are helping them? The game against the Houston Texans, you can't tell me that the refs didn't give them a few calls. You just can't. I mean, it's insane to say that the refs didn't help them. Now, some of the other calls and some of the other stuff, I don't watch them that closely. I watched the Super Bowl the last time they were against Philadelphia. People are bitching about that. I'm like, the man grabbed his jersey. We all watched it. That's holding. You can't do that. We all watched him. James Bradbury reached out and grabbed Juju Smith's jersey, and they called it. Now, granted, I thought the ball was overthrown. I didn't think he was going to be able to catch it. But to say that he didn't hold the man, that's a lie. He did. So, he did. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I just, the Bills game was bad. What in the Bills game was bad? The first down on the thing. I mean, it was iffy. I thought Josh Allen probably got that fourth down play. You're right, on the quarterback sneak. I thought he got it. I was watching the game. We were all together watching the game. He's like, "Oh, that's a first down." And then for them to come back, I'm like, "Well, you couldn't see the ball." I go, "But you did see his body. Where'd you think the ball was?" Like, you saw him with his body. Well, you can't see the ball. Well, where do you think the ball is? Like, do you think he put it on his ankles? I don't know. I get it, though. I get it. So, I get it. The officiating is that's the problem. That's a problem. If the Chiefs are just better than everybody, then let them be better than everybody. And nobody will be able to argue that. But when you help them along with obvious nonsense, that's where people have the problem. If the Chiefs are just better, then just let them be better. Just let them be better. You know, that's my thing. Just let them be better. You got the best coach. You got the best quarterback. Just let them be better. Other than that, I want to see good football, but quite honestly, and I've said this, I want to see Saquon win. I want to see him win. Not so much the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, because the way that the Giants GM treated him, and we all saw it, we're not going to have a $40 million quarterback hand off to a $13 million quarterback. Oh, really? You're not going to do that? Oh, okay. Now you don't have either one on your team because you are an idiot. The owner came in, I'm going to have a real hard time and not going to be able to sleep if Saquon goes to the Eagles. Well, he went to the Eagles and he's in the Super Bowl. You probably haven't slept all year. So think about that. Saquon wanted to be there. You wouldn't pay him. You wouldn't give him an offensive line. So he said, screw it. I'm out of here. And you tried to make him look bad. Well, are you going to give us an opportunity to match your deal? Hey, man, you have an opportunity to pay me right now. What do you want to do? Don't be, well, go out there and see what the market has and then come back to us. No, I'm not going to come back to you. I'm not coming back to you. You have an opportunity to pay me right now. What's your offer? You never offered him anything. So he left. I want to see Saquon win. That's my thing. I'm there. So that's what I'm with. Yeah, digital dust. Saquon's such a humble guy. Yeah, I want to see him get Super Bowl MVP would be even better. You know a guy that's getting trashed right now in the media is Jalen Hurts. Like people are saying, well, he's not very good. He's a game manager. Like somehow being a game manager is bad. All he's doing is, hey, I don't have to go out and make 100 plays a game for us to win. But that doesn't mean I can't make the plays for us to win. It just means I don't need to. I'm not being asked to do it. So people are just crushing them. And I'm like, it's kind of like the guy in basketball. I always make this reference to basketball. Who would you rather have on your basketball team? A guy that can take 2 dribbles to his right, get to wherever he wants to go, pull up and make a shot? Or do you want the guy that dribbles the ball between his legs 4 times, spins around 2 times, behind his back 3 times to get to the exact same spot and shoot the basketball? I mean, sometimes things are just easy. I can just dribble here and shoot, or I can do all the theatrics and then go over there and shoot. Just make the plays. That's all I want you to do. Make it easy. Make it easy. Everything doesn't have to be difficult. I talked about the Steelers making offense more difficult than what it has to be. I talk about it all the time. I just, my thing is Jalen Hurts is not being asked to carry the football team. He's being paid like a guy like that, but you have to do that in today's day and age, I guess. But it doesn't mean that he can't. And when the opportunities have been brought up, he has made the plays. But I think Jalen Hurts is one thing. He's a very bright guy. He's like, I'm not going to get in the way of what we're doing. Kind of the exact opposite of what we were talking about with Russ and Arthur Smith. Russ out there changing plays, making things happen, winning a game. Arthur Smith getting in the way, telling him, you're never going to do that again, not under my watch. Jalen Hurts is like, man, I got this running back behind me and this offensive line. They're running for 175 yards a game. Yeah, I'm not going to get in the way of that. I don't care how many books A.J. Brown reads on the sidelines. I don't care how mad he gets. I'm not going to do that. We're going to win the game. This is how we're winning it. If we need to do something else, we will. But this is working. we're going to continue to do it. Pretty simple to me. Pretty simple to me. So that's all I know. Hurts is can throw the football when he needs to throw the football. He runs it. The one thing he does do that I don't like, he takes sacks when he doesn't need to take sacks. When he rolls out, he tends to always roll right, no matter what. But everybody's got flaws. All I know is 2 out of the last 3 years he's been in the Super Bowl. That's what I know. You can say he's getting carried. So, but that's what I know. That's what I know. So, It's weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know. What are you talking about, Dresden? Wilson's team put that nonsense out. Look at the film. And more context, brother. What are you talking about? I know you don't like Wilson, but Wilson was fine in that game against the Bengals. So, and just because the Bengals have a bad defense, nobody else threw for 414 yards on them. So we can't be the fan base that when somebody plays good, we want to downplay it because they're not playing against the best competition out there. We can't be that fan base. Or I guess we can, but it's ridiculous. Just take it in stride and move on. We get it. They weren't the best pass defense. But, okay. They didn't have to be. Nobody said they were. But since they aren't, shouldn't you exploit them? Or no? Just, hey, I know they're terrible against the pass, but we should just run it. So, it is what it is. It's crazy. But I really think Arthur Smith won out. I think Arthur Smith wanted Justin Fields all along, and I think that's what the Steelers are going to end up getting is Arthur Smith over Russell Wilson. And I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about it. I said it from the beginning when we got Justin Fields. I wanted him to win the job. It doesn't sound like he really got an opportunity to win the job, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I tell you what, the nuclear option would be if neither one of them signed. I know somebody said that in the chat earlier. That would be the nuclear option if neither one of them signed. If that happens, I don't know where we go. Like, seriously, I don't know where we go. Well, who are we going to sign? Zach Wilson? Jacoby Brissett? Ooh, brutal. So, all right, people. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys for showing up early this morning. Thank you guys for taking the time. Again, remember, my position by position is coming out. So make sure you guys check those things out, those videos. And as always, get into the comments section. Like, follow, subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Thank you as always. And I will holler at you soon. Aloha.